Hey guys, in this lesson we will deal with cardiac cycle from the topic human circulatory system. This is presented by me, Yogita Khandelwal. Cardiac cycle. The sequential event in the heart which is cyclically repeated, consisting of systole and diastole of both the atria and ventricles. So the entire event that is occurring in heart cyclically and sequentially, that is systole and diastole of both the atria and ventricles, that is known as cardiac cycle. Now duration of cardiac cycle is 0.8 second. Very important, asked many times in your examinations, so just remember duration of cardiac cycle is 0.8 second. And atrial systole consists of 0.1 second and atrial diastole, that is 0.7 second, summing up to zero point 0.8. Similarly, ventricular systole is of 0.3 second and ventricular diastole is of 0.5 second, again summing up to 0.8 second. So in cardiac cycle, we have atrial systole diastole and ventricular systole diastole. Now, the events that is occurring during cardiac cycle are as follows. First, there is accumulation of blood in atrium. We have accumulation of blood in both the atrias. Then there is SA node depolarization, impulse conduction. Impulses generated in SA node, and we have atrial systole, that is atria contracts. Now AV valves open because of contraction of atriums. Atrioventricular valves open, that is tricuspid and bicuspid valves open, and blood rapidly enters in ventricle, and this blood is about 30% of the entire blood that enters ventricle. AV node, that is atrioventricular node, and Purkinje fibers depolarization. Now by this time the impulse has been conducted to AV and Purkinje fibers. So after filling of blood, we have ventricular systole, that is ventricular contracts and atrial diastole starts. So after first atria contract, blood is filled in the ventricles, then atria relax and at the same time ventricular contract. Now this causes closure of contraction of ventricles and relaxation of atrium causes closure of AV valve and first heart sound is produced. So first heart sound is produced by closure of AV valve. Then we have isovolumetric ventricular systole, that is, since AV valves are closed and semilunar valves are also closed, so thus the volume of ventricles remains same and it is contracting at this time, so it is called isovolumetric ventricular systole. Now semilunar valves open and ventricles pump blood in aorta and pulmonary artery. Right ventricle pumps blood in pulmonary artery and left ventricle pumps blood in aorta. Ventricular diastole starts and arterial diastole continues. So after filling of blood in the arteries, the ventricular relaxes, and since atria is already relaxing, it continues. And it causes closure of semilunar valves and second heart sound is produced. So first heart sound is by closure of AV valve and second by closure of semilunar valves. Then we have isovolumetric ventricular diastole. Now semilunar valves are closed and AV valves are closed and the ventricle is relaxing and in the same volume, that's why it is known as isovolumetric ventricular diastole. And after relaxation, AV valves open, that is atrioventricular valves opens, and it caused first phase of fast ventricular filling. Then we have second phase of slow ventricular filling. Now there's closure of AV valves and the cardiac cycle completes here. Then again we have accumulation of blood in atrium and the same cycle is repeated. So this cycle, all the events starting from first till here is of cardiac cycle and it takes 0.8 second for the heart to complete all the process. Now see, this is a picture of heart. So first, this is atria, right atrium. This is left atrium, right ventricular, and this is left ventricular. So first there is accumulation of heart, which causes opening of these walls, that is tricuspid and bicuspid wall. Then the blood fills here in ventricles. Till now, the conduction is impulse is transmitted from SA node to AV node and Purkinje fibers. So it leads to a contraction of this ventricular and relaxation of atria, and closure of AV valves occurs, and it results in first heart sound. Now this valve is closed and these semilunar valves are closed, so the volume of the ventricles remains same. That's why we have isovolumetric ventricular systole. And then this semilunar valves open and the blood is filled in pulmonary artery and here in aorta. Then this ventricular relaxes, atrial relaxation continues, and we have closure of semilunar valves that results in second heart sound. Then we have isovolumetric ventricular diastole because both these valves are closed again. Then the AV valves open and their first phase of rapid filling, then slow phase of rapid filling, and the AV valves close, and again there is accumulation of blood in atria. So this picture is also depicting the cardiac cycle. So here we have atrial systole for 0.18 second. Now atria contracts, then atrial diastole till lasts 0.7 second. Now after atria contraction, we have ventricular systole, in which we have three phases. First is isovolumetric contraction, then ventricular contracts, and there's ejection of blood in aorta and pulmonary artery. Then begins the ventricular diastole when the diastole is continuing. Again, it has first phase of isovolumetric relaxation, then the ventricular filling, and again the atrial contraction. Thus, this cardiac cycle is of 0.8 second. Atrial systole increases the flow of blood into the ventricles by about 30%, and the rest 70% of the blood flows passively in the ventricles from the atria. So when the atria contracts, it results in 30% of blood into the atrium. Heart beats 72 times per minute, that is 72 cardiac cycles are performed per minute. Stroke volume. Volume of blood pumped by each ventricle during a cardiac cycle. So the amount of blood that each ventricle pumps in a cardiac cycle is known as stroke volume, and it is about 70 ml. And the cardiac output, volume of blood pumped out by each ventricle per minute. That is volume of blood pumped out by each ventricle per minute. In stroke, we have volume of blood pumped by each ventricle during a cardiac cycle. Now in 1 minute, we have 72 cardiac cycles. So that is stroke volume multiplied by number of heartbeats, that is about 5 liters. So stroke volume is 70 ml and cardiac output is 5 liter. So that's all for this lesson. Thanks for watching.